You know how people love to say millennials are broke, lazy, or just not good with money? It's time to challenge that. Because the truth is, a lot of millennials aren't just getting by. They're actually getting ahead. In this video, we'll talk about how millennials are rewriting the rules of wealth and what they're doing differently to win with money. From investing earlier to building, not inheriting, assets. You'll see how they're shifting the game without waiting for permission. If you stick with me until the end, you'll walk away with a new perspective on wealth. That's not based on outdated advice, but on what's really working right now. Give Luxo-Life some love and let's get started. 1. Millennials are the wealth-building generation. Let's start with the big headline. Millennials are now being called the wealth-building generation. For years, people said this group was behind financially, buried in student loans, struggling to afford homes, and hit hardest by rising costs. But things are shifting. New research from Oxford Economics shows that millennials are now saving and investing more than past generations did at their age. That's not just a small win. It's a major mindset shift. They're not just trying to survive financially, they're building. They're doing it in their own way too. No suits, no flashy offices, no waiting for permission. Just intentional steps toward financial independence using digital tools, self-education, and a long-term strategy. This generation grew up through recessions, layoffs, and global instability, and that shaped how they think about money. They're more cautious, but also more creative. They're not just relying on salaries either. Side hustles, freelancing, and online businesses have become part of the plan. Millennials are building wealth from multiple angles, and they're doing it without waiting for anyone to hand them a roadmap. 2. Millennials are expected to have $140 trillion in assets by 2045. Now, let's look at the numbers. Millennials are expected to hold $140 trillion in assets by 2045. That's not a typo. That's trillion with a T. That projection isn't based on wishful thinking. It's grounded in real data showing how consistently millennials are growing their wealth. Oxford Economics reports they're expected to increase their assets by about 11% per year over the next 2 decades. That kind of compounding takes discipline. It means they're not only earning more, they're keeping more. They're keeping more. They're keeping more. They're cutting waste, sticking to budgets, and turning their income into something that grows over time. This $140 trillion includes everything from home equity and stocks to business ownership and retirement accounts. It's the result of long-term thinking and smart financial habits. And it's not just about millennials doing well on their own. This shift will also change the entire economic landscape. As boomers pass on their wealth and Gen X moves into retirement, millennials will take the lead in economic influence. They're stepping into power financially, and they're doing it in a way that's more diversified and digital than ever before. 3. They're building wealth, not waiting to inherit it. Let's bust one of the biggest myths out there. People love to say millennials are just waiting for inheritance checks to roll in. That's not even close to what's actually happening. Most millennials are building their wealth from scratch. Their top wealth drivers, real estate, equities, and pensions, including 401(k)s and IRAs. They're not crossing their fingers hoping their parents will pass down a fortune. They're out there working, investing, and earning on their own terms. They're also getting smarter earlier. This generation is financially literate in a way that didn't exist before. They're using budgeting apps, watching finance creators, and learning how to manage portfolios from their phones. And they're moving fast. Many millennials are buying homes earlier than expected, especially in cities or regions where remote work has made it possible. They're not relying on inheritances. They're creating assets with their own effort and decisions. Millennials are also getting clearer about what wealth means to them. It's not just money. It's having options, stability, and the power to walk away from things that don't fit. That's a mindset shift. 4. They're investing earlier and smarter. Millennials are investors. Not someday investors, right now investors. And they're getting started younger than previous generations did. According to the data, millennials are holding a larger portion of their wealth in equities than boomers or Gen X did at the same age. That early exposure to investing gives them a powerful advantage, especially with time on their side. They're not just guessing either. They're doing the research, following reliable strategies, and choosing tools that automate the process. Many are using platforms like Wealthfront, Fidelity, or index fund apps to consistently build their portfolios. And while some dabble in crypto or trending stocks, the real power is in how they're focusing on the long game. They're using dollar cost averaging, buying ETFs, and setting clear goals. This isn't the get-rich-quick crowd. This is the get-steady-rich over time generation. One thing that sets millennials apart is that they don't see investing as optional. For them, it's a necessary part of the plan. They've seen inflation, they've seen recessions, and they know that relying on a paycheck alone isn't enough. So they're taking action early, and that's going to pay off in a big way. 5. They're saving more than previous generations. We can't talk about wealth without talking about saving. And millennials are showing up strong in this area. According to Oxford Economics, millennials have consistently saved more than the national average by nearly 5 percentage points. That's a major shift when you consider the challenges they've faced, including student debt, stagnant wages, rising rent, and the overall cost of living. Despite all that, they're still managing to put money away. Technology plays a huge role. Saving money isn't a vague goal anymore. It's visible, trackable, and often automated. Millennials use budgeting apps that show exactly where their money goes. They set up automatic transfers to savings accounts the moment their paycheck hits. Some even split their income into different buckets, one for long-term goals, one for short-term needs, and another for freedom or emergencies. But this is about more than just tools. It's a mindset. Millennials see saving as a way to gain control. They're saving to create options, not just to build an emergency fund. They want to be able to take a break from work if needed, switch careers without panic, or even fund a personal project that matters to them. There's also a cultural shift. Cultural shifts have made discussing money more open, with friends, groups, and couples discussing savings goals together. This makes saving a part of their lifestyle and builds financial resilience, reducing reliance on credit cards during tough months and allowing them to make big life choices. Saving is not about hoarding money, but about having the power to say yes to things they want and no to those that don't fit. This generation knows that saving is not just for retirement, but for today, tomorrow, and the unexpected, laying a strong foundation for lasting wealth. 6. They're rewriting what wealth means. For a long time, millennials were the punchline in every financial conversation. They were called lazy, irresponsible, and too dependent on avocado toast. But that stereotype is fading fast, and millennials are the ones doing the rewriting. They're not just making better financial decisions. They're redefining what wealth actually looks like. It's no longer just about designer bags or six-figure cars. It's about flexibility, peace of mind, and living life on your own terms. Millennials are more focused on freedom than flash. Many are prioritizing mental health, balance, and meaningful work over status. That means saying no to traditional 9-to-5 jobs that don't align with their values, and yes to remote work, freelancing, or starting businesses that give them more autonomy. They're also investing with intention. Millennials are choosing where to put their money based on ethics and long-term impact. They care about sustainability, fairness, and the kind of world they're helping shape with their dollars. Whether it's avoiding harmful industries or supporting companies that do good, their financial choices reflect their values. This generation is also building for more than themselves. Many millennials are thinking about generational wealth. They want to make sure their kids are better off, or that they can support family members if needed. Financial freedom is not just about them. It's about creating stability for the people they care about. Banks, tech platforms, and even big brands are starting to pay attention. They're realizing that millennials are not impulsive shoppers. They're thoughtful, research-driven, and loyal to products and services that meet their needs. As a result, financial tools are evolving to reflect how this generation thinks and lives. The bottom line? Millennials are not just keeping up, they're moving forward with clarity, purpose, and quiet strength. They've built new rules around money, and they're proving that being intentional can be more powerful than being flashy. If this gave you a new way of thinking about money, give Luxo-Life some love. Hit that thumbs up button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. See you next time, Luxo lovers.